This is the Good Government Show.
You know, mayors are focused, regardless of how big or small our cities may be, the problems that we face are pretty similar. You know, a successful city has to be built on a strong foundation of infrastructure. Small businesses are the backbone of our economic success. Good government in Tampa is that city government knows what the community wants because they're engaged and in touch. 31 years, it was never a day I didn't want to go to work. I loved being a police officer. And same thing with mayor. It's just, there's just something that is incredibly rewarding about being able to serve your community.
Hurricanes, floods, Latin culture, Cuban cigars. These are just some of the things that make Tampa, Florida, the city it is. Planning for disasters and protecting citizens. Well, all in a day's work for the mayor of Tampa. Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm Dave Martin. First, help us share the message of good government by liking us and sharing us where we are on Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Please share our show with your friends and review us where you're listening. And join our Good Government Show community. Check out our website for the links. Jane Castor is the mayor of Tampa, and we had a lot to talk about. I've been wanting to have her on the show for a while now. First, we discussed being the mayor of a city where minorities, specifically Latin Americans, make up a large part of the city's population. She has some strong ideas about how cities should be, or more correctly, should not be part of what federal law enforcement is doing. She said citizens need to have the trust in their local police force. As she'll explain, that means doing only the job that local police must do. In 2024, Tampa got hit with 2 hurricanes that caused extensive damage. We talked about how the cleanup is going and how a city in what's known as Hurricane Alley prepares. Mayor Castor was also appointed to a national FEMA advisory council, and we talked about her role in FEMA's role. As we met at the conclusion of the annual Conference of Mayors meeting, we talked about national issues and about how America's mayors across the nation are working to deliver good government. And we talked baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, and what it's like to throw out the first pitch. She did pretty good. Check it out. See how she did. There's a link on our website. So coming up, my long-awaited discussion with the mayor of Tampa, Florida, Jane Castor. What if World War I never happened? What if these 3 royal cousins, King George of England, Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany, and Tsar Nicholas of Russia, chose peace over pride? Good Government Show executive producer Jim Ludlow has just released a new book. The Royal Cousins is a gripping alternate history that imagines how diplomacy and courage could have stopped a war that took 22 million lives. If only they'd used the principles of good government. Download The Royal Cousins now on Kindle. It's powerful, timely, and just 99 cents. And all the proceeds support our work here on The Good Government Show. Just search The Royal Cousins on Amazon today. Well, I am finally sitting down with Mayor Jane Castor of Tampa, Florida. I've been trying to get a hold of you for 2 years now. So I finally corralled you because I had to come to your city.
Oh, there you go.
To Tampa. We are at the Conference of Mayors has just ended, and I finally got you alone. So Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping to talk.
My pleasure.
So let's just talk about your city a little bit. You've just been the host city for the Conference of Mayors. You've been on several different stages throughout this conference. This is the Good Government Show. Are you hopeful that there's good government out there?
Oh, there's definitely good government out there. Just look of the collective group of mayors that we have brought together for this conference. Individuals that are serving their cities and doing everything that they can to successfully grow their cities.
Do you feel like now that you've got a real true national perspective, not that you didn't have it before, but what are you seeing? What are the trends that you're seeing across the country? Give us some hope.
Well, mayors are focused, regardless of how big or small our cities may be, the problems that we face are pretty similar. everybody's looking at issues with affordable housing, transportation solutions, or dealing with congestion, workforce, trying to bring high-skilled jobs into your communities, and then clearly resiliency and sustainability. So by bringing mayors together at conferences like the U.S. Conference of Mayors and being able to share ideas on best practices, but also in many instances on initiatives that may have been tried that didn't work so well. So you really get to share those ideas and take them back to your community and implement some great programs and initiatives.
And the old saying is true, you learn more from your failures than your success.
Without a doubt. I love to interview individuals, business owners in our city, and you talk about their successful business. And then I always like to end up with, have you ever had any failures? And their faces light up and they're like, have I had failures? Let me tell you about this.
Have I got a story for you?
Yes. And it really is interesting. You do learn more from failure than you do success.
Well, let me put you on the spot then. What is the biggest mistake you've made as mayor? What's your failure? What's the one that you're like, mayor, I did not do that one well?
Well, I think as mayor, if I were to start over again as a police officer, which I was for 31 years.
And you were former chief of the police department for Tampa.
Chief of police, yes. You get thrown a set of facts, you make a decision, then you move on. And I like to joke that then I became mayor and met transportation. So I think maybe understanding a little earlier how long these projects took probably would have been of value to our community. I could have found ways to move them more quickly, which we did, but still. You
mean you can't do everything overnight that everyone wants?
Still some of them just take too long.
So I just, kind of briefly looked at some of the things you've done. You were on the Workforce for Youth Talent Group, managing disasters, obviously the Criminal Justice Committee. In fact, you just had some resolutions on the Criminal Justice Committee. What were the big takeaways from the Criminal Justice Committee this year?
From the Criminal Justice Committee, the biggest focus for cities in America is that we don't get involved in immigration, that is a task that is headed by the federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So on local law enforcement, for your law enforcement officers to be successful in your city, to be a safe city, it has to be built on a foundation of trust, that the community trusts the law enforcement officers or they cannot be successful. And so you have to be there for the community, and residents and visitors and everyone has to feel comfortable coming forward to law enforcement. And so there are, let's use as an example, the Hispanic community. In some areas, there is a distrust of financial institutions. So a lot of Hispanic workers would carry money around and they would be robbed. And if they feel afraid to come forward and report that because they may be an illegal immigrant, then those crimes are going to escalate. So the job needs to be immigration needs to be enforced by ICE, and it needs to be done on those immigrants that have a criminal record. Everybody agrees that they don't want criminals in their community, but there are so many hardworking individuals that are trying to go through the process and become American citizens so they can do what all other Americans do, and that is work hard to realize their dreams.
We're in the state of Florida, which was probably a Spanish territory longer than it's been an American territory. You have a huge Spanish-Cuban population, South American population. Are people worried here? We are a minority-majority city here in Tampa, with Latinos being at the top of that. Sure. And yes, people are worried. They're not showing up for work. I have a Hispanic advisory committee. I actually have two with the city. I have one citywide, and then I have one that is made up of city workers. And even individuals that are American citizens are afraid, because they're afraid they're going to be stopped just by the look. And we're seeing it, the impact
an effect on our local businesses. And it just, from my observations, this immigration enforcement is being used more to sow fear than it is to take criminals out of our communities.
And as the mayor of a minority majority city, what can you do about that?
What I can do about it is to assure our residents that we aren't going to be, stopping on a street corner and asking people for their papers. This needs to be what the current administration promised, and that was that we're going to remove criminals from our communities, our neighborhoods, and our nation, and not just this random roundup of let's see who we catch in the net. Throw out the net, and yes, you may get people who are American citizens. You may have people who have work visas, and you may get a couple of individuals that are illegally in the country. That's not the way it should be done.
We just heard a speech from Mayor Todd Gloria of San Diego. Yesterday, I spoke with the mayor of Tucson. I'm sure you guys have had conversations together about this. Mm-hmm. Are you all together? Are the mayors working together on this?
Yes, mayors are all working together, and that was one of the resolutions that we passed today, is that ICE's focus should be on those individuals that are committing crimes in our country, and not on individuals that are trying to enter the country legally and become American citizens.
So I want to get local now and talk a little bit about your city. You were hit very hard with two major hurricanes. I think I read somewhere that you had to answer 15,000 emergency calls.
Yes.
How does a mayor manage that kind of crisis? And let's talk about the future for that. Where are you going? We're probably, we're definitely as prepared as any other state, and possibly the most prepared for these types of incidents, because every year there's going to be a hurricane somewhere in the state of Florida. So we have the appropriate policies, procedures, equipment, personnel, and we exercise our plans on a regular basis. And we have historically been in the position where we send our resources to another location that got hit. Tampa hasn't taken a direct hit in 100 years. And Helene was 100 miles offshore, and we still had 4 to 7 feet of storm surge. Right. And Milton, more rain than we've ever had in one evening than we've ever had in a month in the history of our city. And one of the things I told two of the mayors I worked for as I was a police chief, I said, we're as prepared for a hurricane as we can be, but nobody's going to be high-fiving each other afterwards. It is a disaster. Yep. And so it's going to take us a while to get back up on our feet. And that's what happened with Helene. And we were picking up the debris from that, and 13 days later got hit by Milton. But you can see very few signs of that hurricane damage. We still have a lot of houses that have to be repaired or rebuilt, but we've really gotten back up on our feet. I was doing a little research about you because I had 2 years to prepare for this interview. You did, tell me if these numbers are incorrect, $94 million to water upgrades, $350 million for stormwater maintenance. And then you've got something called the Pipes Project I want to talk about. That's a $209 billion project for water and sewage. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Is this money well spent?
This is money incredibly well spent.
Are my numbers correct?
Your numbers are correct. Might be a bit higher on the water, but we did pass a $3 billion pipes program to replace our water and wastewater pipes that in many instances are a century old. And so we respond to water main breaks to the tune of multiple millions of dollars a year. And one of my good friends, who was a former mayor, she said, Jane, you know why we haven't replaced the water and wastewater pipes? I said, I don't know. She said, you've never seen a ribbon cutting for new sewer pipes. So I literally have had ribbon cuttings for new lift stations, new sewer pipes.
Good for for you.
Yes. But, that's
because you look great on TV.
I think that, a successful city has to be built on a strong foundation of infrastructure. And so we really have paid attention to that and are making great progress.
How do you explain those huge numbers to citizens?
Well, we have put those into, so our water, wastewater, and parking are all enterprise. So they in essence are businesses, and they have to keep themselves in the black. And so we have put in a staggered increase in our water and wastewater and solid waste costs. Our utility costs monthly, but our monthly bills are still lower than the other municipalities and counties in our area.
So how does a cop become an expert in sewage and water systems?
Isn't that hilarious? When I first came, I became mayor. I went around and learning the ins and outs of all of the different areas. And I have to say, hands down, my two favorite are water and wastewater. People have no idea. They turn on the faucet in the morning, and the expectation is that clean water's coming out. They have no idea the hundreds of people that are behind that are making sure that happens. And it really is fascinating. We have our own water. We have Tampa Bay Water, which is a consortium, and Tampa was of counties and cities. We were able to maintain our permit to pull 82 million gallons of water out of the Hillsborough River every day. We treat that into some of the best drinking water in the world, and then we supply the entire city and a third of the county with that water.
I understand that you have been appointed to the FEMA Review Council. This is a national federal council appointed by the President of the United States currently. How is it going? And are you optimistic that the dollars that belong in FEMA are going to stay there?
I don't know about the dollars that belong in FEMA, if they're going to stay there. We're certainly fighting for that. All government organizations have room for efficiencies. And you go from local government to state to federal. One of the things I tell my team at budget season is look back before you look forward. Are there changes that you have made that you don't necessarily need certain positions, and you can repurpose those? The federal government is not good at that. They look forward. So there are a number of efficiencies that can be had on the federal level and in FEMA. But to say we're going to do away with FEMA is impractical. Everybody has a role. Local, the event happens, locals are on their own for 48, 72 hours. The state can bring in resources. The federal government has to come in the end and support the recovery efforts. And so there's a role for each. And we can make a lot of progress with FEMA, but to say that it's going to be done away with, I think is impractical.
Well, you are the only mayor that lives in a hurricane zone. So I hope that your voice carries.
I hope so too.
Yes. Here's an interesting fun fact I found out about. Tampa is the top city for women in business.
Yes.
How did you pull that off, Mayor?
Well, I don't know if I pulled it off, but we really recruit businesses to move here from all over the world. We have an amazing Chamber of Commerce. Our economic development is a great resource as well. So we work hard to bring companies in and to ensure that our economic portfolio remains diverse. We saw what happened in the pandemic in those cities that really, didn't have diversity. They were focused on a couple of industries and they really suffered. And so we want to have that diverse portfolio. Now, when we go out and recruit companies to either expand or move their headquarters here, we also understand that growing businesses from the ground up, that is what makes our community successful. Small businesses are the backbone of our economic success. And so making sure that you're providing the opportunity for everyone to be successful is really what led us to being the the best city for women-owned businesses.
And when they see Madam Mayor walking in to negotiate on behalf of the city, it can't hurt a little bit. I want to ask you about something else. What is the Vision Zero action plan?
Vision Zero action plan.
This sounds like good government.
Yes, it really is. And it's something that started outside of the United States, but it really there's a number of cities who have pledged Vision Zero. And that imagines a community without any pedestrian cycle or motoring deaths in your city. Now, that's a pretty lofty goal for us here in the Tampa Bay region, because we are often in the top 3 of fatalities throughout the nation. But that is ensuring that you have safe roadways, you have bike lanes. We have put in so many miles of bike lanes in our city in the last 6 years, and continuing on with complete streets, the design of intersections. Everything that you're doing is focused on keeping your traveling public safe.
And I have to ask, before we get into our questionnaire, this is a big sports town. You got the Buccaneers.
All right, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay?
Nope, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, sorry.
That's right.
You got hockey, you got football, and right now you have the Tampa Bay Rays playing in the New York Yankees spring trading complex.
Right.
Are the Rays staying?
They are staying.
They're staying. Are you going to build a new stadium? What's the plan?
There will be a new stadium.
Do you have any? Can you share any details of where or when or anything like that?
I don't have all the details now, but I'll say that it will proceed with breakneck speed, because these conversations have been going on for over a decade about the Rays building a new stadium. And so there are a number of deals that have been made that haven't made it to fruition, but I think this one is going to happen.
You're on top of this?
The owner's going to sell the team. That's in process now.
Okay.
And then I believe that the Rays will, I know the Rays will stay in Tampa Bay. I believe they're going to be in the city of Tampa.
And have you ever got a chance to throw out the first pitch?
I have.
And how'd you do?
I did. It was like, I don't know, 80, 85 mile an hour slider. It was pretty awesome. So
whoa.
That's
you have
fictitious.
An 85 mile an hour slider?
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Oh, all right.
But I tell people that's the most stressful thing you do as a mayor, because all eyes are on you, and you can't go out there. You have to get up on the mound.
Yep.
You gotta slam it down straight in.
Did you practice a little bit?
I was out till probably 10 o'clock the night before, practicing with my son's girlfriend. She was a softball pitcher. And so out there pitching, making sure that you're getting it right. It's on video. I mean,
all right, we'll have
for
to
the
look
world
that up.
to see.
We'll have
That's
to look
right.
that up. I think you said you were a basketball player, right?
Yes.
All right. Baseball ever? Softball? Nothing?
Yeah, I played everything when I was young. I was a product of Title IX that said that girls could participate in sports the same degree as young boys. So I played everything that there was, every sport, and actually went to University of Tampa on an athletic scholarship.
For basketball?
Basketball and volleyball. You could be two-sport back then.
All right.
Yeah.
But they haven't thrown out the first pitch in a basketball game.
Yeah, no, I've thrown the ball up, and I've flipped the coin for hockey and football and all those other ones.
See, that's the fun part of being the mayor.
It is. That is a fun part.
That's the fun part. All right. Well, that was the easy part. We're going to get to the hard part in just a minute. The Good Government Show is sponsored by Our. That's OUR for Our Community. Get involved. We hear that all the time from government leaders. Our co-brands with your government's name and logo. Your staff and the people you serve are connected and part of your community. From any device, your members provide reliable data and meaningful feedback. Ask a question like, do we want more parkland or better homeless services? More engaged conversations come through the Our app. Visit Ourco, that's OURCO.com, and book a demonstration. Once you wrap up this episode of The Good Government Show, give a listen to our friends over at Good News for Lefties. This daily podcast highlights news stories that show there's more good news out there. Other people in government are really trying to do the right thing. That's Good News for Lefties. Listen where you're listening now. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions to get to the true heart of your philosophy of government. The first one's the easiest. Define good government.
Define good government.
What is it? What is good government? What does good government look like in Tampa?
Good government in Tampa is that city government knows what the community wants because they're engaged and in touch, and that we ensure that we provide the services that our community needs and are good stewards of our tax dollars.
And that's all easy, right?
Right.
Piece of cake. No problem.
Nothing. Every day.
Every day.
Do that.
People say how wonderful you're doing.
Yes. Actually, our community, you go out and walk around, our community is very supportive. This is a very positive city. It's very collaborative. Everybody comes together to celebrate all of our wins, but we also come together in times of need.
And for people who don't know, there's the city of Tampa, there's the city of St. Pete, there's the city of Seminole, Largo, Clearwater.
Yes, Clearwater.
All of this is, the sort of Tampa region. So all of you mayors,
Tampa Bay area.
Do all of the mayors sit down together and
we do.
Regularly?
So the mayor of Clearwater, St. Pete, and Tampa, we meet on a quarterly basis. And then we have the mayors in Hillsborough County.
Yep.
We meet as well. And then we have the big city mayors in Florida that meet on a regular basis. And then we have the Florida League of Mayors as well.
So a lot of meetings.
There's a lot of
coordination.
Meetings.
So if people don't like what you are doing or what government is doing in Tampa, what should they do? Actually,
everybody in this city has my cell phone number. They literally have my cell phone number.
Is that why I can't get a call back? Because you have thousands of calls.
And they will text me and let me know what the issues are in their neighborhood. And to me,
do they?
Oh yes, I just got a text last evening with a flyer about like some car races that they had planned on Davis Islands. And so I sent it to my police chief. He didn't know anything about it. But when they all showed up, or when they show up for that event, the police will be there waiting on them. So those are the kind of things that if you can cut out the bureaucracy in the middle and just solve the problems, that's what people appreciate.
Does it take you a while to get through the grocery store?
Oh my gosh. My kids stopped going to the grocery store with me when they were probably 7 or 8.
Really?
I stop off to pick up 1 or 2 things and it's an hour and a half later. But it's good.
I was talking to a county commissioner in Sonoma. His wife won't let him go to the hardware store anymore.
There you go. Yes.
Same idea, I suppose. A police officer rose through the ranks of in the Tampa Police Department, police chief, and now mayor. What drew you to public service?
Well, I kind of stumbled into it. When I was graduating from University of Tampa, I had aspirations of going into the federal service, and President Reagan had put a freeze on federal hiring. And I had some friends that said, you should come to the police department. You really like it. And I had no idea. Didn't know any police officers, never did a ride along. And I tell people I was blessed because for 31 years, it was never a day I didn't want to go to work. I loved being a police officer. And same thing with mayor. There's just something that is incredibly rewarding about being able to serve your community.
What would you tell someone? I mean, you look at what's going on in the public discourse today about government and about public service. It's not something that people automatically think, oh, this is a great thing to do. Right. What would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them, and that's true. We're in some divisive times, but that pendulum swings back and forth. I would say that you have to get into public service for the right reason. And if you choose to run for office on the desire to serve and have strong values that, you don't sway from. I had a police chief one time that told me, he goes, I use the analogy of a stream where your values are as steady as the rocks in that stream, but you're nimble enough and flexible enough to change with the times as the flowing water does. And so there are a lot of people in political positions that take action based on how many votes they're going to garner. And I say you have to go in there, talk to people, know the issues, and then make decisions that are in the best interest of your community, not what's the most popular decision.
Who inspires you?
Everybody inspires me. I mean, just being at this conference and hearing the comments from all of the attendees about everybody that they have encountered has been so friendly and so welcoming, from the volunteers to the staff at the hotels, our police officers, everybody. It's somebody said the Uber driver couldn't stop talking about how great the mayor is and how great this city is. So those are the kind of things that, this is a big city with a small town feel.
Did you were a police chief. Did you think you were going to be running for mayor right away?
No, never. And I always said, people go, did you always want to be police chief? And I said, yeah, right when you're new and you think you know everything. And I'm like, make me chief, I'll fix this place. Yeah. But I'm very competitive. I always say I don't have to be number one. I just can't be number two. But so I would do very well on promotional exams and those types of things. So I continued to move up the ranks. But becoming a police officer, you have to be in the right place at the right time, because it's a very flat organization. We have 1,400 people in our police department, and there are 10 people on staff. So, it's not a lot of room for advancement. And then when I retired from the police department, I really never had any aspirations of being in political office. But knowing our city was going to change more in this decade than it has in my entire life, and to be a part of the growth of this city was just just something I could not pass up, and it's been amazing.
Do you want to announce your run for governor right now?
No, I will never leave the city of Tampa. I was born here, raised here. I will never live anywhere else.
So you're in your second term as mayor, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned about government that other people should know?
I kind of joke sometimes. I feel like I'm in an episode of Veep. I think that government, I think what everyone should know is that people dedicate themselves to public service because they want to serve. And that sounds simplistic, but it's true. And when people are very critical of actions taken, I'm all for constructive criticism, but make sure that it's informed, that your feedback is informed. And what I ask of people too is, don't just come forth with criticism, have some ideas on solutions or better ways to do things.
What's the best part of being mayor?
Best part of being mayor is all of it. Some of it, I love talking to young people. I love just being out in the community, cutting ribbons for new businesses. And
sewage treatment plants?
Sewage treatment plants in the winter.
Okay.
Water's good year round, but winter's the best time to go through those. But really, just everything you learn about the community, it is fascinating and rewarding every minute.
Does every time a hurricane warning come up, is that your nightmare?
Yes, that is my nightmare. And you watch when we were watching.
Have you become a meteorologist, an amateur meteorologist?
Yeah, I try to. But in our emergency operations center, as we were watching Milton come in, we have 3 giant screens and 3 meteorologists, and one was like, it's going to hit dead center on Tampa. Another one said it's going to hit north, which actually would have been worse than a direct hit. And another one said, no, it's going to be south, which was the best scenario for us. And it ended up 26 miles south, which was a godsend for us. I mean, I feel bad for our neighbors, but hurricane season is a bit stressful.
A bit stressful.
A bit.
Do you have the NOAA meteorologist on your speed dial?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
NOAA, yes. The group is retired since a lot of the cuts, so I don't know who we're gonna get next. But we are BFFs with our NOAA people and all of our weather forecasters during the hurricane season.
Well, maybe on the FEMA board you can make sure those conversations continue. So let's brag about Tampa a little bit.
All right.
for the people who are here visiting Tampa, where would you send them? What's the thing they must try? What is the dish of Tampa?
Well, first of all, you'll have to stay a minimum of a week to see everything because we have so much history here in our community, and it's very, very exciting. So you'd have to take a trip to Ybor City. That is a part of Tampa that was given to the cigar makers back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And we were and are the cigar capital of the world. We had so many cigar factories in Ybor City and then in West Tampa as well. So down there for the food, for the cigars, for the chickens. There's chickens and roosters all over Ybor City.
What is the deal with chickens all over Ybor City?
It's something that came from the Keys, and they're just everywhere all over the city, and it's pretty cool.
Wild?
Just wild, just out.
Who feeds them?
Walking around. Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody feeds them. So that's a cool place to be, and you can take our streetcar that is free from Ybor down through Channelside into Water Street.
Okay.
Which Jeff Vinnick, the owner of our Stanley Cup winning Lightning hockey team. He and Bill Gates built this community. It is the first LEED certified neighborhood in the world.
Okay.
And it is amazing. Restaurant shops all on the water through our vibrant downtown. Just so many different areas. We have the best kids zoo in America in Lowry Park Zoo. Our aquarium, Florida Aquarium, is down here. They've done amazing things with coral restoration. So many things to do on the water. One thing I would suggest is a pirate taxi at night.
Okay.
So you get to go down the Hillsborough River and hear of the history of the city of Tampa and see the beauty from the river. So that's a must do.
Columbia is the oldest restaurant in the state of Florida. I think it's the largest restaurant in America. What is your order? What is your standard order there?
My order is 1905 salad. 1905 was the year that it was founded. 1905 salad with grilled shrimp on top, no olives. And it has enough garlic in it to knock out whoever you're talking to. So you just have to be forewarned.
No pork?
And they also have, Cuban sandwich. And we have whatever Miami can say they have a Cuban sandwich. They don't even have Cuban bread. Our
Miami
Cuban
has Cuban bread.
No, not the real Cuban bread.
I don't know about that.
Real Cuban bread is still made with palm fronds. They cut palm fronds and tear the leaves and put it in the middle of the loaf. So that's what causes the break in the top of the Cuban bread loaf. Trust me, you eat what Miami says is Cuban toast, you come to Tampa and have it, all my money says you're voting on Tampa.
We're going to meet in Versailles on 8th Street, and we'll compare, all right?
I guarantee you.
What do you do for fun?
Oh, my gosh. Well, first of all, my job's big fun.
Okay.
Like, look at this. This is my job here, and I'm coming to a U.S. Conference of Mayors
and coming on the Good Government Show,
mayors,
certainly.
And coming on the Good Government Show. What could be more fun than that?
Thank you.
I live on the Hillsborough River. So I have a boat right out my back door, so I can just get in my boat. I'm going to do that this afternoon, go for a boat ride before it rains this afternoon. So that's a lot of fun. And I exercise like a maniac. That's what keeps me sane.
This is the Good Government Show. We always bring it back to good government. Tell me about a good government project that you've been able to pull off as mayor that you're proud of.
I think the PIPES program is something to be able to really make a huge impact on the infrastructure in our community with our wastewater pipes, repaving of our roads. I think that we've made a real impact in the future of our city.
Jane Castor, the mayor of Tampa, the host of this year's Conference of Mayors. Thank you for finally coming on the show.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure meeting you and getting to know you. And I look forward to my next trip to Tampa and seeing you in Miami for a Cuban sandwich at Versailles.
Right.
All right.
Yes, and you will say Tampa's got the Cuban sandwich. I
will
guarantee
say that.
You. All right.
Thanks for coming.
Take care.
After you get done with this episode, hear more good government stories with our friends at How to Really Run a City. Former mayors Kasim Reed of Atlanta and Michael Nutter of Philadelphia, and their co-host journalist and author Larry Platt talk with guests and other mayors about how to really get stuff done in cities around the nation. Check them out where you're listening now or through their nonprofit news site, thephiladelphiacitizen.org/podcasts. You don't have ribbon cuttings for new sewer project, except in Tampa it seems like you do. Well, sure, ribbon cuttings are fun and the perks are great of being mayor, but being mayor also means getting into the nitty-gritty on things like hurricane preparation and understanding sewage treatment. Not the glamorous part of the job, but really the most important. A really good conversation with a mayor I've gotten to know a little bit over the past few years. She's a dedicated public servant, a former police officer, police chief, and now mayor. I like what she said about a career in public service. And by the way, after we finished talking, she said she was heading home and then heading out to Tampa Bay on her boat. A good way to spend a Sunday in Tampa for sure. Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, goodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.